So if you were indeed watching SmackDown on Netflix last night, we had a massive delay in the middle of the show. It went about 35 minutes. But the real issue is that Netflix "We Will Be Right Back" music started to play. If you hear that too many times, your body starts wiggling, jiggling, and I tell you, it haunts your dreams. It does mean that you won if you watched it on normal TV, and that reminds you that when the world does burn, we should all go back to television. But otherwise, hello, my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs, the only wrestling review show you need. If you are brand new, couple of things, or if you're old too, go and share this video and say there's this really weird guy that reviews wrestling. But you can also tell them about the finger of power. We like something, we give it an up. We don't like something, we give it a down. And remember, it's just based on my feelings on any given day. That's the fun, man. That being on a horse is out of control. Make sure you're doing this too. What a stupid show. Let's up those downs. Cody Rhodes kicked off SmackDown as well, and it was this segment that got totally wrecked by the power cut. But WWE did upload the clips to the internet, and we shot all of these on ringside cameras, I suppose. We have to do more with that. It felt totally different. The production was new. It was a little bit like watching a vlog or a reality TV show, but for some reason, that made it twice as cool. So yeah, we don't always have to stick to the status quo, even though they are a good band. Let's always try and shake it up. Cody didn't get to say anything, which has become his gimmick recently because Randy Orton walked out. Man, what a nerd. He was all like, man, at the Slammies at the end of the year, I think Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso should win back to 2025. I was like, all right, you stupid geek. I mean, we are all going to debate that, but come on, Randy, at least wait till January. Randy also wanted to point out the reason he has to win King of the Ring is because he needs his revenge against John Cena. And also, if we go back to last year, I need redemption, man. That's what that crown is all about, because I lost to Gunther. I was like, is a crown about redemption? I just thought it's what you wear if you are a king or a queen, because then peasants can look at you and go, oh my gosh, they're so much more important than me. Maybe I'm wrong. He made sure to remind Cody Rhodes that he basically loves him too, as he keeps on going on about he is not worrying about personal feelings anymore, because if he wants to become a champion, maybe he's got to do some terrible stuff. You have to figure one of these dudes is going to go heel in the latter part of 2025, and we're going to get that feud. And that means we do the dance of joy. I basically wanted this for 2 years. I'm also never going to call it a heel turn again, because when I were making my notes, my phone auto-corrected it to jerk turn. I was like, man, that is so much better. So from now on, when someone does go bad guy in the world of pro wrestling, we're just gonna call them a jerk. Cody then lent into the whole teacher-student thing, which again is something I want from this feud. He's like, man, Randy Orton, you're the best. You don't need redemption from nothing. You're one of the greatest of all time. And in fact, if we count up all the world titles that you and John Cena have won, it's around about 42,762. I may have exaggerated there, but it was a lot. The issue is, as much as Randy Orton needs to get his revenge against John Cena, Cody needs it even more. And it didn't really tell us why. I mean, he did totally get murked at WrestleMania 41. It probably keeps him up at nights. It probably makes him a sad panda. And nobody wants to be a sad panda, even Cody Rhodes. Randy then did his whole 3 most dangerous letters in sports entertainment RKO, so he is going to take Cody's head off. And this was actually really simple, but it was so damn effective. And I believe that Cody Rhodes will win King of the Ring later at Night of Champions. But am I 100% sure? Of course I'm not. Randy Orton could beat him and nobody would mind. And that is the wrestling secret sauce when you're just not sure. And we'll go, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, on every single 1-2 ooh. I just like the fact these two are programmed together. And I also like the fact before we get into the proper feud, they can have a babyface versus babyface match in a tournament. I think WWE has booked this very well. Let's get it up. So Asuka then ordered JC Mateo to kill Jimmy Uso. Well, he didn't say that, but his whole thing was like, oh man, we need to get Jimmy Uso back in the clan. So you have to go out there and beat him up. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. That's like trying to get back with your ex-partner, meeting up with them over Christmas and saying you should have bought me a gift. They're still not gonna like you. This is where I'm gonna throw my first down in here though, because look, Jimmy Uso versus JC Mateo was a bunch of fun, especially because JC was using all of his power to throw Jimbo around. But I don't think the WWE has done enough with the former Jeff Cobb at this point. Like, he barely says a word, and he does have fun matches. I just need more. And we've had plenty of time to give us more, so I'm Busta Rhymes, essentially. That's just how I felt, and I especially felt it in this match. It just felt a little bit copy and paste. And you don't copy and paste Jeff Cobb. He's better than Microsoft Word. It's getting it down. So Asuka also made sure to stop a Jimmy Uso dive, because he does not believe that it's 2025. That's when JC caught Jimmy out of midair and just killed it. I was like, man, I will never get bored of that, right? It could be 2079 and somebody, a big guy, will catch a smaller guy out of midair and slam on the floor. I'll be like, that'll do, pig. That'll do. Jimmy also wasn't able to lift Mateo for the Samoan drop. I don't know how that works. He's still Samoan. We don't know. And this is when Asuka, of course, did some distracting and some interfering. He just grabbed Jimmy Uso's leg. We put a 1 on the dick board. That sounded worse than ever. The distraction, interference, and confusion counter, whatever you want to call it, when JC Mateo went, oh, hi. He hit the Tour of the Islands, 1, 2, 3. Solo was then all like, Jimmy, come back to the Brotherhood. So Jimbo slapped him right around the face. The Bloodline beat him up, which is when Jacob for 2 came out to make the save. He hit a bunch of moonsaults, because can you believe it? We have a US title match later, and we had to set it up. The match was really fun, though, so I am going to give it an up. And if I were going to make a prediction, which I am going to do, I think that Hikuleo is going to finally debut in WWE later, and it's going to go one of 2 ways. I can actually see Asuka becoming the US champion. I think WWE would pull a fast one, because basically, SummerSlam is like tomorrow. It's so damn soon, so you could then switch it back again. But either way, JC Mateo good, Jimmy Uso good. We should just be doing more with Mr. Cobb, or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Like I said, I'm giving it up. DIY were then trying to rally the entire SmackDown tag team division against the Wyatts by essentially saying, they're really spooky wooky, and if we don't do something, we're all gonna die. This is when Nick Aldis walked in and once again was like, yes, listen, I forgot to book the entire show, so listen to me, Tommaso, Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano. Later on, you were gonna have a tag team match against Andrade and a mystery partner. Pretty sure you could figure it out. And this is when we get to another down, so I do apologize for being a negative Nancy, but Giulia did indeed defeat Zelina Vega for the US Championship. It's nothing to do with Giulia, and it's nothing to do with Zelina, but my gosh, we did not let Vega do anything with that US Championship. I mean, she said she was going to talk to Giulia 2 weeks ago, and we didn't do it. Then she was going to do it last week, and she didn't do it. And then here we had the match. I don't think WWE even told us why Giulia helped Zelina Vega in that hardcore match about a month ago and then turned on her at the end. This whole thing has been 2 + 2 = potato. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, there should have been one segment in the ring when Giulia was like, I am going to beat you. And Zelina was like, no, you're not. I'm the master of the Street Fighter tournament. But we didn't. And listen, the match was perfectly fine. It was perfectly okay. Giulia got her foot on the rope after a code red, so Zelina only got a 1-2 technically when she got hit with that Northern Light suplex, and Giulia won. And we did present this like it was a big deal. So I'm going to keep everything crossed like I'm a weirdo and hope that we build some contenders here and finally turn the US Championship in the same way that we have done on Monday night with the Intercontinental Championship, because that's doing way better. And don't forget, at one point, the Women's IC title was basically a ghost. You could go around the corner, it would go boom, and you go, oh, because you weren't expecting it. So yes, we'll leave it there for now, but I just don't think WWE has done right by any of these people, and I would include Chelsea Green in that as well. It just kind of hangs out in the background playing a Nintendo, which is why it's getting it down. When we learned that SmackDown is going back to 2 hours, people got mad at me and sent me messages going, oh, there you go, Simon. Now there's not going to be any new opportunities for people. Man, you must have been watching a different show to me. Even at 3 hours, we didn't do that. And believe me, at 120 minutes, if WWE does book the same kind of a show, but they have to condense it, I think it's going to be fire. The good news is we are going to find out, but I definitely think this is a plus. Alexa Bliss then told Charlotte Flair as well, listen, I don't want to be your friend. After Charlotte literally said the words, I don't need friends. I was like, man, this is the greatest conversation of all time. And then laughed out loud because Alexa suggested another relationship with Charlotte. She said, okay, why don't we be allies of mutual convenience? What the hell does that mean? Imagine you got married and someone said, do you take this person to be your ally of mutual convenience? Well, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to lie, Mr. Vicar Priest Man, it sounds a little bit illegal. What I would like to do, though, is have them go after the women's tag team titles, because flub me sideways, do we need to do more with those? And we even saw Nick and Adam Pearce talking later, go, oh yeah, what should we do with those belts? So they're terrible at their job, because it's been like a month when we got to our Queen of the Ring final promotional time. Because Wade Barrett was talking to Jade Cargill and Asuka, and Wade said to Jade, why are you so confident you're going to win? If Cargill had just gone, because that's the whole point, I would have bought into it. But no, she was like, listen, I'm so damn powerful, I'm the Storm, and I need to take the throne at SummerSlam, or something like that. Essentially, she's going to win, and then she's going to win the championship at Hot WrestleMania. When Asuka turned this into like an RPG leveling up system, she was like, it's not all about power, I've got experience. She's also got the skills, and don't forget, nobody is ready for Asuka. When Naomi just walked out, she is the most fabulous character on SmackDown. She is all like, you guys don't have power at all. I've got the briefcase, so I can screw either one of you whenever I want. She's flubbing brilliant. It's also basically turning into Lord of the Rings, and she wound up Jade Cargill so much, she pushed past Asuka. Asuka's like, you don't get to do that to me, so she booted Jade right in the head. And so I was like, right, well, we've just been telegraphed there. Jade Cargill is going to win the Queen of the Ring. Naomi totally loved it, though, because of course she did. I actually really enjoyed this, just because Naomi is inserting herself into every single women's segment, but she should be doing that because she is Miss Money in the Bank. I also quite like the pairing of Jade Cargill versus Asuka, because it just feels different. I just thought this was fine. It was a bit simple, but effective. Gonna give it an up. I mean, I'm excited for the final. It's the entire point. This is when Piers and Aldous were having their ridiculous conversation about the women's tag titles. When Ron Killing's R-Truth and Aleister Black were here, R-Truth did not want to give Aleister the time of day because he's still looking for John Cena. The GMs were like, yeah, you know, Cena's kind of tied up with CM Punk right now. And Ron was like, I don't care, I'm going to sort it out. This is when Rey Fenix was back on TV because, of course, he was Andrade's surprise partner as they took on DIY. And man, if you could only spare some time to watch one thing on this episode of SmackDown, you should watch this. I saw somebody on the internet compare it to a PWG tag team match. I was like, that's exactly what it was. It was so much fun, it was fast, it was flippy dippy doodah, it had Jeopardy in it. It was basically excellent. Andrade and Fenix did double dives because of course it's 2025. Otherwise, Gargano and Ciampa would just take every shortcut they possibly could, including pulling Andrade off the ring apron so he couldn't get a tag. No, that's not a euphemism, but of course it's a pro wrestling tag team match. Eventually Andrade got the warm slap and he just ran wild. He also reversed Johnny Gargano's spear into this awesome DDT. Again, if you like some good wrestling working, this is the match for you. Fenix was also walking the top rope and did this amazing German suplex as they continue to escalate this thing like the Dark Knight. And we even saw Fenix kick out of the super kick fairy tale ending combo, so my gosh, we were giving him everything. When Ciampa essentially went to go for a knee, he totally missed. He got hit with that fire driver as Andrade got the message and these two won. Now, a couple of things. Surely it means that Andrade and Fenix now have to be entered into the SmackDown tag team scene, which is just overflowing with duos, unlike Raw. And also, Andrade has now won like 2 matches in a few weeks. So we should all be very scared. This never happens. What if we've interrupted the space-time continuum and our aliens are going to come to Earth? Thanks a lot, Triple H. Didn't think about that, did you? But what a bunch of talented folks they are, and I am going to give it an up. And here I will make the concession, yeah. Maybe we will get less of this on a 3-hour episode of SmackDown, but WWE didn't do it enough anyway. Hopefully they find the time. Brilliant. This is when we got the big CM Punk John Cena video that we also saw on Raw, when Ron Killing just got in the ring. Was like, listen, I'm interrupting the show because I want to talk to John. When Aleister Black basically teleported in behind him and gave him the black mass. I'm not going to lie. I got so flippin' excited. You're telling me that we're going to do Ron Killings versus Aleister Black in a proper feud? Take my money. It got even better as well because Damian Priest then found Black and was like, you shouldn't have done that. He's my friend. When even Carmelo Hayes got in Damian Priest's face and said, listen, I think you should back out of this. So if we are going to do something with all of these 4, and these are all 4 people that I think we should be doing more with, so they're the dudes that need more, or the DWTDs, or something like that, which sounds like some kind of infection, here's the deal. I'm giving it an up, because WWE just piqued my interest and made me say a bunch of gibberish, but it's exactly the kind of thing I want. I'm going to stand here, cautiously optimistic, and I'm not going to move until I figure out whether it's good or whether it absolutely sucks. When I am going to have to throw another down in, I'm being super honest here. I tried to fight it, but I couldn't. But it was time for our tag team title match between the Wyatts and the Street Profits. And even though Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins had cut this proper hype promo beforehand, it ended when Los Garza ran in. And going back to that word telegraphed, you had every single SmackDown tag team at ringside, so everybody knew what was going to happen. When the Garzans did run in, there was no rhyme or reason. They just decided, put a 1 on the dick counter. This was too much for me. I understand the story, oh my god, it's absolute chaos, and people are scared of the Wyatts. But come on, man. At least try and trick me. It was right there in my face. I suppose it just felt like one major bait and switch, and no matter how good the work was, it was totally sucked away. Although I did enjoy the fact that Eric Rowan got the spotlight. He is a big dude, and we don't do enough with him. And here, he was running wild. So I'm going to say that it felt lame. That's it. That's how it felt to me. It felt lame. It was like, oh my gosh, here's a big thing, and now we're taking it away. And why wouldn't Nick Aldis be like, right, from now on, you're banned from ringside? But we never say that. I don't get it. This felt like the peak of all of this madness. So hopefully now we come back down the mountain. But yes, it's a down. Dare I say it, I turned into WWE's dad. Whatever that means. But I was disappointed. This is when Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso had a conversation that went, I didn't need your help. And Jacob, well, I didn't need your help. And Jimmy said, well, I do appreciate it. And Jacob said, well, I appreciate it too. Then they kissed. They did not kiss. But it certainly sounds like at some point, they're probably going to be a little bit of a tag team. When it was time for our Women's Championship last woman standing match, which is a very confusing sentence, I'm just going to say this. It was fine. I think the Tiffany Stratton Nia Jax feud has been gone back to one too many times, but they went out there, they put a bunch of effort in, and if you just wanted to sit back and have a fun time, that's what you're able to do. It's a bit like playing Animal Crossing. This one splash by Nia Jax as well off the ring apron through a table was horrendous. I mean, she quite literally splattered Tiffany Stratton, and at one point, Naomi ran down. And this killed me, man. I was actually laughing to the point my tum-tum hurt, because it was that wrestling trope, or that WWE trope, when Naomi to the referee is like, I'm cashing in my briefcase. The referee is like, I don't know what you mean. And she's like, cash in briefcase. And the referee's like, what? I'm so confused. When Tiffany Stratton just got this thing, and she smacked Naomi right on the head. It went really bad from there for the bad guys as well, because Tiffany then saw Nia Jax wibbly-wobbly on the ring apron, so she hit her too, and you're not going to believe this. Nia fell through a bunch of tables, snapping to a Slim Jim. She wasn't able to get up. We counted to 10. Tiffany Stratton is still your champion. So look, we are never going to talk about this again, but I do appreciate the fact they put in the effort, like I do say. So I am going to give it an up, but the nerd side of me now kicks in. We really got to give Tiffany Stratton a proper feud. Also at SummerSlam, Naomi definitely has to successfully cash in. When we got to our main event angle, that was going to be between John Cena and CM Punk. And I would tell you this, we could have sat down for the next 4 million years, and I don't think anybody would have predicted this. Because John Cena came out to the most ridiculous pop you've ever heard. I mean, it was so damn loud. And he didn't actually get to say too many things, because all of a sudden his Word Life theme hit, or the Doctor of Thuganomics music, and that's right, to get back at the fact that John Cena had stole his pipe bomb promo. CM Punk was basically dressed like Cena from 2004. He even had drug-free on his hands. I mean, he designed a logo too, and given that when we watch wrestling we're meant to believe that everything's happening is real, it meant CM Punk sat down with Photoshop and he made his own. I mean, why not? You got to do something. You can see on the screen, though, just how much he did look like the guy, and I have some choice lines. I'm going to forget otherwise. But he said that Cena had buried more people than The Undertaker. He was more problematic than Hulk Hogan. Cena is always just going to be the Marine. He looks like a washed-up bum. And the big go-home line was, hey, man, Punk is Drake, and you're basically Kendrick. And if you remember that beef, which somehow was only like 4 months ago, good grief, did that stuff get deep. It also kind of inspired me, because I was like, well, I bet I can rap. I mean, I can't. I definitely can't. But I've done everything else on this show. So as we have arrived here, let's go. My name's Simon Miller. I up the down. I got no hair, still look like a clown. People say I'm biased, but I don't care. Too busy thinking about my lack of hair. I ain't no grifter, it's a waste of life. You got real problems, the trouble and strife. One day we be dead, so there's no real need. These are my life lessons you should heed. Or it don't matter, cause I'm not your dad. I heard he's out there watching Breaking Bad. But that's an old show, go get him a new one. Amending it here, no, this was not fun. Sounds embarrassing. You should never, ever have decided to watch this show. And genuinely, here are my thoughts on it. I thought it was okay, which I get sounds weird. But some people on the internet, more power to you, I was genuinely happy for you, went totally crazy about this. But I just thought it was like a cute thing to do. That's the word I used. I'm so terrible. Isn't it cute? But really for me, CM Punk is at his best when he just has a microphone. He's so damn real and he's so damn gritty. Whereas this was more sports entertainment. Now, you should always do both. You can't stick to one lane. That's how I felt about it. I'm still going to give it an up. I still can't wait for this match because I have no idea what the finish is going to be. But it's not something I would run around telling people, oh, you've got to see this. Also, nobody should ever make that noise. But in terms of being creative, I thought it was all right. Which brings us to the end of WWE SmackDown, the go-home show for Night of Champions. And yes, I will be back tomorrow morning or even later tonight, depending how quickly we do get it turned around. But I will give it an up. But it was a confused show. Like, it was all over the place, but the crowd too into it, and that kind of made it more fun, but whatever. It's one of those things that you probably don't need to watch, and you can just check out the pay-per-view instead. But while we are here, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen so you can watch ups and downs for Raw. And otherwise, yes, it's too hot in here for that. I shall see you at some point over the next 24 hours, because wrestling never dies. But I love you, my friends. I'll see you then.